How's it going, guys? God is not this man in the sky. God is this energy source. God is this being that is not a being. He's not a physical being. I say he, but you can say she. God is just this being that creates everything, and it flows through everything, and it does everything. God is reality. God is existence. God is this thing that we live in, and also what's running the thing that we live in. God is everything and everyone. You are God, I am God, everybody is God. God is not a man. He's created the light and the darkness. God is his energy, and you can talk to God. It's not necessarily that you'll get an answer, but you just got to tell God what your problems are. You can say God, you can say the universe, you can say whatever. God doesn't have a name. We just call it God because we name things. But God is just this thing with no name. You can call it whatever you want. It is whatever it is. It doesn't control everything, but it controls everything. It just keeps moving. It just keeps flowing. And it creates everything. And you can talk to it. You can say God, what am I doing wrong? And if you ask, what am I doing wrong? You'll notice that an answer pops up. An answer that you didn't create. It came from nowhere. And it's not necessarily a voice. But, maybe you'll say, God, what do I do next? And an image of writing an essay pops up. And that is God, because it didn't come from you. You didn't create that image. The image came from where, right? Or when you make a decision, right? If you don't know where to go, what makes you decide? What makes your brain say, this is right and this is wrong, right? When other people, they say this is right and this is wrong, but you say this is right and this is wrong, right? What makes that? That is God. It creates everything. When you have a thought, even if it's a conscious thought, that is God. You don't know how you made that thought. You didn't go on a computer and say, oh, in 10 seconds, I'm going to have a thought, right? And if you did make the thought, try to shut your thoughts off. What happens if you try to shut your thoughts off? They keep going. That's why it's so difficult to meditate, because you'll sit there and your thoughts just keep coming. And then you get to a realization, wait, if I can't stop my thoughts, then who's giving the thoughts? Whose thoughts are these? They're not your thoughts. They come from God. Or when something happens, when a random event happens, who created that? That's God. Existence, the universe, whatever you want to call it, created everything and is creating everything. Right? When you get angry at something, who made it so that thing makes you angry? Right? You didn't decide at birth, okay, I'm going to get angry whenever this happens. No, it was given to you. That anger was given to you from somewhere. Or that happiness, when you find something that you like, what gave you that opinion of joy towards that thing? You didn't. You before you, maybe you did. Maybe before you were born, you started to you created your whole life or how you were going to act, but I don't think so. It came from God. It came from the universe. It came from this thing, right? People think you have control. You have free will in the way that you are God, right? And God has free will. But it's not free will in the way that you control everything. If you had complete free will, you would be able to do you would be able to do whatever you wanted to as soon as you did. There'd be nothing stopping you, right? If you had free will. You have an extent of free will, but it's not the same. It comes from God. Like I said, what made you make that decision, right? God gave you the decision. God gave you the opinion. It came from elsewhere. You can't explain. If I said, explain to me how you came up with that opinion, eventually you'd be like, oh, well, I didn't like this. Yeah, but why didn't you like, what gave you that opinion? Oh, well, this. Well, what gave you that opinion? And if you went all the way back to the beginning, you'd be like, I don't know. I don't know how I got that opinion. It just came to me. That was God. If you ask a question, you can ask questions. You can be like, where should I go? What should I do? And answers will come to your brain. That is God, right? If you say like, I want to be a millionaire, right? All of a sudden, ideas will come to your head, and that is God. God is this energy, this thing. It's not a man in the sky, but if there was a man in the sky, it would be God, right? It is every single thing in existence. It is everything. It is the bad and it is the good. It created good, it created evil. It created everything. It is God. It is the leader. Not even the leader, it's just the thing. If there was a leader, it would be the leader. If there was a follower, it would be the follower. It is God. It is whatever. That is what the universe is. Everything in the universe is one thing. It's one thing, which means it's everything, right? There is no separation between that thing and this thing. Like you say, this is not God, but this is God. No, everything is God. Like you say, like there's me and there's a universe. No, it's all one universe. It's all one thing. It's not three things. It's not four things. Like it's all one thing. You can't be separated from it. If you disappeared, the universe would disappear. If the universe disappears, you disappear, right? It's one thing. You can't have one without the other, right? Like God is this all pervasive, this all like knowing, all doing everything thing. And you wonder why. It's because it's everything. You don't have to worry anymore. You don't have to worry about things because it's all God. Right? Every time you came up with a solution, that was God. Every time you cried, that was God. Every emotion you've ever had was God. You don't know where your emotions come from. They come from nowhere, right? Like, why, like, if it was up to you, you would never get sad about anything, but you get sad about things. If it was up to you, you would never get angry about things, but you get angry about things, right? It just comes. It just happens. That is God. That is God. It's this random variable. It's this energy, this thing that pervades through everything, right? Like you don't know what's going to happen, right? It just randomly happens, right? And when you realize this, when you really see this, you see that like it either one makes you go crazy or two makes you relax because you realize there's nothing to worry about. That this thing is forever. This thing has never not been and will never not be. And if it does, then nothing will exist outside of it. It'll just be nothing. It all goes in one direction. Like, it is this all-pervasive thing. God is this, like, it's your everyday life. You don't have to worry about anything because it's all there. You can ask it questions and it gives you the answers, right? Sometimes it gives you right away. Sometimes it gives you in a few weeks, few months, whatever. It gives it. Like, I don't know. I like when you think about it, it's just amazing how like everybody's taught about God, but no one knows what God is. No one, like, except for a few people, you don't see what God is. You don't realize that God is every single thing. Every single thing. There's nothing you can look at that's not God. There's nothing you can do, say, be, have, anything in existence. Nothing is not God. Everything is God. God is amazing. You are amazing because you are also God. You were made by God. You are God. Not even that you were made. Like, you weren't like this thing of clay that was made. God created you. God is you. It just, poof, God, you, everything here. Everything you envision is God. Everything you see is you. Everything you see is God. All right, but I love you guys. I know that was kind of a ramble, but I don't know. I asked like, what should I, like, I was thinking to myself, I asked like, what should I make a video of? And the answer I got was, tell people what is God. explain to people what is God. And that's what I got. It's like, that's truly what it is. And that's what I learned that when I was like 18. It's God's not a man in the sky. God is everything. God is this thing that and it loves you dearly because it is you. If you love someone else, you're loving God, and God is loving them, and God is loving you. God is everything. All right, but I love you guys. Red Guru, out.